to this meeting of Buckinghamshire Council Planning Committee. We're about to do our usual round of seeking out the Englishman's University's Castle. And can I first of all ask for, are there any apologies for absence? Apologies from Councillor Harvey. Just Councillor Harvey. Okay.
Accepted. Yeah, accepted.
Thank you. Item 2, are there any declarations of interest?
Usual one,
Usual one, Councillor Satchbury.
just in case we ever have anything.
And then item 3, the minutes of the meeting, the planning committee meeting held on the 10th of November. I was quite glad I didn't South Africa for this meeting, because you managed it in about 55 minutes.
That's me talking.
What a good man. So, are we happy with these minutes?
Very.
Before I ask somebody, could somebody propose? Okay, ecstatic then. Are we ecstatic with these minutes? Could Lucy, would you like to propose a second, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all in favour? Anyone against? No, that's okay. Thank you very much indeed. Right, item 4, North Bucks Parishes Planning Consortium, Councillor Try.
Yes, after it had been moved from a previous date, I couldn't get along to that one, so you'll have to wait until the minutes come out.
What something wrong with that is, but so you really couldn't, you have no idea what happened.
Agreed.
Okay. Are we
You need to push me on the point.
I'd like to thank Councillor Try for his honesty.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank Councillor trying.
Oh. Order.
I know.
And item 5, this, I'm going to move on relentlessly, otherwise I'm going to get through.
Yeah, we'll get on the pool.
Oh, they enjoy themselves. Planning applications, the next scheduled Buckinghamshire Council Planning Area Committee meetings, Wednesday the 5th of December and 7th of January 2026. Strategic Sites Committees are on Thursdays the 18th of December 25 and 15th of January 26 at 2 p.m.
Just small point. If today's the 1st of December, how's Wednesday the 5th?
It's a Friday, isn't it? It's this Friday.
Snoopy's birthday on Friday.
It's been cancelled anyway.
Okay.
I was just going to say,
Shall we
I
do a correction?
think so. I will find out tomorrow whether it's my mistake or theirs.
Well spotted, what does it say?
That's why I missed it.
cancelled.
It can
This is- no, it's right, okay.
Was it the 3rd?
This is. It would have been the 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well spotted. Right, so now we move on to a series of planning applications. First to which we received from Buckinghamshire Council, the statutory planning authority, which we consider as the statutory consultee, and whether to request a call in on any of these. So item 1, 53 Fisher's Field. A single story rear extension. Members' views on it?
I propose no objections. Please.
Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be all in order. Oh, sorry, seconder, please, Lucy. Thank you, Roshni. Are we all in favour? Yeah. Okay, nobody against? No. Notice, Councillor Such was good idea. Abstention.
Just give yourself
Can we stick to abstaining rather than do because it could get very confusing.
Just got there in a minute.
Because people may misinterpret that, you know.
Only somebody will look at mine like yours. Right, next item, I'm going to roll on relentlessly. Oh gosh, 130 Morton Road. proposed first floor extension and single story rear extension. What do we think of this?
No,
What I think of it, but I think it's nice to hear your views.
The handler.
Sorry. What is he looking at? Please, yes.
Yeah, it accords with policy. So I think I can't see that we can object to it on planning grounds.
What do other people think? Councillor.
if it's a bungalow, why is there a upper window sticking out of it? Door. It's the dormer window.
It says the front dormer and skylight, two rear doors and front skylight were added at this time. The hip roof profile was maintained for all aspects. A lot of measurement, 2 bedrooms, bathroom confused for an overlarge and incongruous and street scene. A revised scheme for 1 bedroom, a bathroom and spiral staircase was approved later in the year.
Oh, right, okay. So I didn't see it on the planning history, that was.
No one's perfect.
It's even another of
It's still at
case of a
today.
bungalow gradually becoming more than a bungalow, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is, and very complicated, again, how to others, whether it's a planning issue, a very complicated roof line.
Yeah.
It's going to come right up at the front, isn't it? It's going to be higher than the original roof, higher than the dormer window. The comments, don't you?
I think those properties are set well back from the road. So I don't think it will look as bad as maybe we're visualising now, once it's done.
Okay.
So that's just.
Anybody else want to have a Fran?
As far as I can make out, it's just trying to make the existing upstairs dormered window bit, a bit bigger, isn't it? So, I don't see that there's particularly an issue with it, really.
And the fact that, the properties either side of it aren't bungalows, you can see in the picture of the property to the right is a 2-story property. So it's not like it's going to kind of stand high above all the others.
Yeah, it's growing up to meet them.
And there is a little bit of a query about the front floor plan, potentially not matching the floor plan that we have from the 2002 ground floor plan, but that was 23 years ago. And at least they're asking to make the changes now, so I would propose no.
Yeah.
I'll second Roger's proposal.
I think I already did.
Oh. And that case, I retract my seconding.
So Roger's proposing, Fran is seconding, and if there are no more comments, shall we go to the vote? All in favour? Any against? No. Thank you. And so it's unanimous, that's right, almost unanimous decision. Thank you very much for being the lead. Righty ho, and then 17 Bobbins Lane, certificate of lawfulness for a proposed use of the dwelling house from dwelling house C3 to C2, residential care home. And I think this might be a little bit more consideration as to whether we've got all the information we need, whether we think it's what we think of the idea, and what other considerations or information we might want to hear. So I would welcome your wisdom. Lucy?
So I don't know from a planning point of view, but and I'm not going to comment on it being a private residential care home because I don't think that's necessarily a conversation for this committee. However, it does seem as though they've put quite a lot of thought into the conditions around the amount of visitors and parking. I would imagine most staff will drive. From my knowledge, most care staff, especially those that work with young people, will drive to the site in case an emergency occurs and they need to drive. The majority of care workers will be driving to the site. So although yes, I completely agree about Catherine's comments about public transport, I think that's less of an issue. From that point of view, I can't necessarily see that we'd have any objection to the plans.
Fran and then.
Lisa.
Thank you. Were you proposing to not oppose it?
Yeah.
I'll second it then. I think the only misgiving I have would be around the parking. Because it doesn't seem to be enough. From what you put there, is that right? There's
Well, given that if you've got 2 care workers coming in on shift, that's 4 cars for a while, there will be presumably a handover time. I don't know the details of these things, so they could be there for half an hour. And it's a very short private drive that serves 3 houses. So, you know, it's going to be quite cluttered at certain times of day.
yeah. It's not something that we can say no to at this point, no, is there? So I'd support them not opposing it.
I am concerned that this is a certificate of occupancy not consulted on, and it's a semi-detached house.
Yeah, but again, the planning, is there any planning law that isn't really?
No. I mean, his point that there are plenty of families in the estate that are 2 adults and 2 children, even though the adults will change every day. Because the care workers won't be working 7-day weeks, so they'll have to have several different people who come in and come back. I don't know whether that's considered good for these children or not. I can't see.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, Fran and then Claire.
So it's 2 young people who need to be given homes. Well, they're young people, they need to be given homes. They're in a position where they haven't got currently a mum and a dad and whatever. It's a 4-bedroom house. Realistically, if it was let to students or turned into an HMO or whatever else, you wouldn't have any control over how many cars were there, what the comings and goings of those vehicles would be. If in a 4-bedroom house, if you've got like teenagers, young adults living in a family home, it's quite possible that they'll have a car each, mum and dad or a car each, and they'll have friends coming to visit, which could be at all hours of the day or night. There's no restrictions put on that, and as we found with trying to object on the grounds of lack of parking to planning consents, Bucks are now taking that as a guide rather than a rule on planning permission. They've obviously not researched the buses because they're just not that feasible. I can't see that we've got any reason to object to it, and I would support it.
Thank you. I've just got Claire first and then.
I was just going to reiterate, this really needs to be decided on planning grounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just to be clear, this is for a certificate of lawfulness for proposed use. So it's basically asking the question, you're on planning permission for this. So this isn't a planning application. So it has to be determined in the outcomes. So they will get a decision quite soon whether or not they need to apply. If the council consider it doesn't apply, they're free to go ahead and do it. If it does, then they need to put in a planning application.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's just, this is an notification, this is asking the question, does this need permission?
Yeah.
Are there, so, now I lost who actually was, Lucy was proposing it.
And
Lisa was seconding it. And if there are no more questions, comments, and I ask you to vote all in favour? Anyone against? And abstention by councillor Satchman. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we move on then to Stonecroft. A single story rear extension. And again, a certificate of lawfulness for a proposed erection of a single story rear extension. Members' thoughts, Lucy.
I mean, it's not actually expanding the. Oh, no, it is the side of the. Yeah, sorry, no, yeah, someone else can go, I didn't.
I don't think it's going to, from what I can see, it's not going to cause offence to anyone backing onto it or either side of it. So I wouldn't object to it, yes.
Yeah. Any other comments on it? Fran?
I propose that we have no objections.
Proposed by Fran and seconded by
Roger.
and did you want to make a comment there? No, you can, yeah. All in favour?
You just poised to raise your hand.
Anyone against? No, and abstention, councillor Satchman. Right, thank you very much, Lee. That was very helpful.
Very concerned you're going to beat my 55 minutes at this point. The bookies are on edge.
9 o'clock, so we really. It's not what I use with fun, really.
I fear that we're going to get huge numbers of applications on the sun once they've sorted all their portals out.
Yeah.
And then we'll have 3-hour meetings.
And I then have some, we have on the agenda, item 5, telecoms notifications for information only. First of all, one on land adjacent to number 2 Ledborough Close, and secondly on land adjacent to Donita, Mount Pleasant Close. And there's nothing we can do, we just need to note them.
Noted.
Yeah.
Item 6, again, land outside 23 Gordon Road and the rear of 1 to 3 footbridge, those noted. Noted?
Noted.
Noted.
And then the proposal to the town council, Gorcott Road base station upgrade to existing installation. Can we note that as well?
Noted. Noted.
Pages of, yeah. Right, and then looking for street name. I've got it. Okay.
We're on number 6.
Well, number 6, yes, I was just doing, on my papers, I have street name. So further down. So item 6, planning decisions, to receive for information details of planning decisions by Buckinghamshire Council. One that we have opposed, they approved, 134 houses, and 2 that we had no objections to, and so we just need to note that.
Noted.
And then further on from that, I think we've done the telegraph poles, new telegraph poles in 3 locations, and again, not for consultation, so we just want to note that.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Catherine, in a very civic way, asked if they were going to put a new pole in the middle of the pavement, they would rather push it away from the middle of the pavement so that trams and ability scooters can actually make it way along there. So thank you very much indeed. Item 6.2, an appeal decision, 14 Church Street, where an appeal against an enforcement notice issued for contravention of listed building control. putting in plasterboard, internal stud walls and ceilings and insulation. The planning inspectorate has dismissed the appeal and the unauthorised additions are to be removed within 4 months of the decision date, 10th of November. Okay, so that's a good thing. And item 7, which was one that caught my eye, to receive for information the confirmed details. Shame John isn't here. Oh, thanks. So I was just discussing, just trying to work out. I thought this was the one where they chopped all trees down. How could they possibly build there? But we've got a whole street naming scheme, and apparently they can build there. Can you explain that to me again? Why?
I suspect that the Forestry Commission sees sense. Because none of the trees were particularly huge or special. It's essentially scrubland, and the law has changed since that application came in. Now, because of the biodiversity net gain, you have to calculate the net gain from the pre-existing conditions. So if the developer comes in and sweeps away all the trees, he will have to calculate his net gain on what it was before. So we won't do this again.
So they managed to get around it in a legal way by displacing.
I suspect that there have been negotiations down the tailspin on this subject, and they've just said no, it's not worth it. We better.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much indeed.
That's what happened is quite
Yes, good.
The Roberts aren't quite complete.
Oh dear. Item 8, the government consultation on statutory consultees. Now this in some ways is a sort of a usual exercise for us. People send us these consultations. I'm going to ask you as members to go away and fill in the questionnaire and put your comments on there. And I'm going to come back here and we'll go on to council and we'll agree it all. There is an element though, I was expecting this to be quite a different consultation. This feels to be quite a sort of a little bit of the playing field, because as we know, planning and powers to agree planning are much in debate at the moment. Maybe there was no ministerial input, and I was waiting to see the cloth falling on, didn't mention us, on local planning authorities. This one seems to be about local planning authorities. But they're being quite nice really to the council, saying you might need a bit more training, slightly patronising. You haven't really known, some of you haven't asked it. So I thought it will be, obviously we will go through this planning consultation. I thought it might be quite helpful just to get out around this table now what we would want to be hearing about consultation in the new world, or just get a slight idea, because we are a statutory consultee ourselves, only for Buckinghamshire Council.
Yeah.
And that's the rules of the game. And we want to make sure, I would humbly suggest, we want to make sure that the local voice and the fact that we know where things are in town, what will and will not work, that is absolutely heard. I was slightly dismayed. I was slightly dismayed to hear the minister in his opening statement saying something about his biggest idea was that he wanted to improve the suboptimal status quo. And I thought, my working class roots are not very strong, but you didn't hear that often at the working men's.
No.
Show a bit of element. Anyway, it's all good stuff. They're promising training, they're promising funding. So let's get along with it. But it'd be interested to know a little bit. Tell us what your experience, but what we think about consultation and planning going forward. Are we interested in still being involved in the game? That's what I'm going to say. But Robin, you wanted to say.
I think you should stay. Everyone should stay interested in the game. The reason being is, judging by my experience and the amount of applications from Buckingham that actually make their way to the planning committee, if you weren't here, who would be interested in Buckingham? Probably not Buckinghamshire Council, judging by how many applications haven't been to planning committee. We can't really leave the entire planning of Buckingham to the chair of the planning committee and the officers.
The minister.
Well, no, in Buckingham planning terms, it'll be the chair of the Buckingham planning committee and the officer.
Yeah.
Because there has been things which have been raised here about sewage and drainage and things which have never been enough substantive enough to raise for anything to go to the planning committee. They've not been substantive, they're not important enough, even though they've been called in on those bases. I think we do need to increase the amount of statutory constituencies for these things, because just maybe you'll find otherwise out there where it is. And the government hasn't been very vague in what it says about, we mustn't confuse this with the housing numbers and such like.
no.
Let's not get confused between the two things and suggest that they're even slightly linked is probably whatever.
No.
And then for the training thing, I did some training the other day on gypsy traveller application. You may be aware or not aware that, surprise, Buckinghamshire hasn't got enough traveller sites because they've never been provided. So those sort of training things and things we need to know, because we're not immune from the world that we are in Buckinghamshire. So something like that would be very useful for members to do, because they come under a slightly different set of legislation. They're not like a normal application. They come under loads of different things. So that might be something you want to consider. And as for the Environment Agency, we should try and give them some more powers, really, especially as we're a river town.
Yes. Thank you. What do other people think, Carolyn?
As far as I haven't read the whole thing through, but I know Civic Voice, and this is Society member of Civic Voice, are very exercised about the need for statutory consultees on local issues. And one of the things that I think what they're trying to do is to sweep away statutory consultees, and among them, very good local voices. For example, the Gardens Trust, let alone the town and parish councils. So, so I think we should be very strong in our response about the need for local consultation.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
In order that Catherine has time, this is obviously over the Christmas period as well, to collate your arguments in the most coherent way possible, could I please ask you to respond sooner rather than later, because the agenda will obviously go out 2nd of.
The agenda for the 5th will have to go out on the 30th of January, December.
30th of December.
Or I will get the vote on the 30th.
So it would be really, really useful if we could have those sooner rather than later, so Catherine's not doing the Christmas Day.
Is there a separate questionnaire that we can answer the questions to, because are we going to have to sort of just copy and paste into an email, or?
Is there a
Is there only
No,
copy that's on the agenda?
The questions on the document that I've attached are as the document lists them. Some of them are tick boxes, some of them are range between 1 to 5, and some of them are please give your reasons.
We don't have a comment on every single thing, but you just give us.
I was going to say, we don't have to answer every single question. But there will be things that members feel strongly about.
So when
for example, we put in the conservation area survey a couple of months ago. We really think that the heritage officers ought to be automatically consulted if it's in the conservation area or a listed building. They're not at the moment statutory consultees.
Staggering.
Lucy,
So as for our responses, do you want us to copy and paste the questions into an email, or have?
Well, I would just open the document, put your comments in, and then send me the document back. That's the best way to do it.
Thank you.
Makes it a lot easier for me.
Does Carolyn, do you get to reply to this consultation in some shape or form?
Well, we will reply.
We will through
the
society.
as a member of Civic Voice.
So,
I think this is significant enough, regardless of what other people's particular opinions are around what it is, and we always have different opinions. We should do something along the lines, and I would suggest it was the ideal thing for press release, really, because we I would like to propose that we agree that local statutory consultees are a strong point. I think we need to put a spade in the ground saying, this is what we do over and above what everyone puts in it.
Yeah.
Because if there is no local consultations, statutory consultation, you can get horrendous decisions taken. The environment can be wrecked. You can get things in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not stuff that you don't need, or stuff that you do need put somewhere else. So I think the idea that we shouldn't be. So I'd like to propose that we do press release on that.
That's not really what this agenda item is about. If that's something that members, once they've read through it, want to bring it forward, that would be a matter for the big.
Well, it's on the agenda, so we can.
It's
Not that proposal.
It's asking for at this moment is go away, read it, give us your thoughts, so we can collate them together and get them used to them.
Yeah, but follow up on what Robin is saying, what I've been saying. I think there was a message we want to get out for the news of this.
The members' attraction.
Yes.
Well, the collated results will coming back to the January meeting, so.
In which case, coming back, it is for members to decide whether they want to do a press release on it. It is a member's decision. So based on the results.
Chance to go away.
But I'm just saying that all I'm saying as a councillor is that I believe this is just the sort of thing that we should have a comment on. There's no point being a councillor and not commenting on anything. So, and I said, regardless of what people say, is what I think we should be making a press release on. I think it's give the timing.
I mean, I'm bound to Claire on how we do it, but the thought behind it is a very strong one. And I'm just afraid that all this sort of consultation, little tiny questions and filling in boxes, tends to dilute the message, tends to dilute what we really want is to send a local consultees. We are very involved. Sorry, crap.
It's coming back on the 5th of January, so that's only just over a month away. When it comes back on the 5th of January, it would be slow news going on then. To do a press release now is the wrong time of the year to actually get things across to anybody.
Okay.
And until members have actually put their thoughts and opinions on it across, and Catherine has collated those, and we have then discussed them, there is nothing to put in a press release, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a message to get out when we've got it.
Yeah.
So we won't.
So I think when I was interceded in it, that's what I was actually going to say. But when we've done that, but we got an intercedent in the actual discussions of members at that point. My point was going to be that regardless of whatever people saying it's something we should do a press release on.
Yeah.
The timing of that is entirely elected members' point of view. And if you don't want to do one, it's entirely up to elected members' point of view.
Point very well made. Just going back to what the minister was saying, one last thing from me was that it talks about aligning the statutory consultee system, which is what we're talking about today, with the development and economic growth objectives set out in our plan for change.
What is that?
And there's obviously a lot of.
That means one can't see a lot of people.
I thought we get sent off onto the edge of the field to do a little bit of homework and might bring back and find there's no field to play on.
It's a bit like the building streets in a flat. There's just need to have. It was recommended for reviews by Buckinghamshire, and you just take them into the government and
Let's do it. Yeah.
So that will probably happen more.
Yeah.
If it's considered to be national infrastructure of high importance.
Yeah.
But like East West Road, the second part of East West Road.
And also one is about who all these developers are, where all these houses come from. And as Robin says, a pretty different point. Right,
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you all very much. You've got homework to do. Try not to make Catherine all have to do homework over the Christmas holiday. And then where are we going? Item 9. I'm still being caused to be forward today. Item 9, regular actions upward. You can slow me down here. Maybe not.
Everyone asks lots of questions.
You asked lots of questions.
So I can't see anything other than noting item 9. Item 10. Enforcement, the nail bar seems to be in use. Item 9 has been told to get back in line, fill the holes in, etc., etc. the unapproved new PVC double glazed windows at 50 Wells Street. Serve an enforcement notice. And oh, right, and then the departing and sorted things out through negotiation, which I explained. I was asking Catherine today though, about the one we discussed last time, which was the sudden proliferation of those boxes outside the university, the yellow one and the white one and something else. So I noticed the other day, oh gosh. So I don't know what's happening about this.
No, well, I mean, you do get a step-by-step thing for an enforcement notice. But basically it goes into limbo, they do things, and then they tell you what they've done.
Okay, so but somebody's on the case just to say.
A case has been opened, photographs have been sent.
Wonderful, wonderful. So as far as I can see, here we go. Item 11, chairs. Oh, sorry, Martin.
Through negotiation?
Do you think? Trying to think what negotiation was. It's a very sort of Buddhist way of doing things. Much better.
I mean, somebody's had a chat, you know, outside of the normal hours and come up with something.
Shall we all go and have a meal there and just see what it looks like?
No, I will be driving that way.
Yes.
To home later on.
Yes. Councillor Try queried what negotiations have been taking place, and we'll all have a look.
And do we not have any other enforcement issues?
Well,
is that not normally on?
Yeah, we had a lot last time, didn't we? You seem to.
Yes, but that was a meeting, it's standard up meeting, so we put all the other bits and bobs that we do with.
Okay. So
This would have followed an interim if there had been any matters to bring to the council. So we have a down agenda. We don't have the election list. We don't.
Wait station.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be aware that there are things being done for the first time for a while.
Yeah.
But we've got a new important offer that seems to be going. Some of the things which I've looked into is what's it, can't pronounce it, Beto. Yeah, that's it, I can't pronounce it. And that issues to do with that didn't fall into planning enforcement issues, and I followed that up. I also followed up the Chindrick Road. You may or may not be aware of the activities on the Chindrick Road to do with the Chindrick Road. So there's you know where
we're none the wiser yet, must we?
well, stop laughing, I'll tell you. On the Chindrick Road, there is a development called Foundry Drive.
Oh, right, yeah.
Do you recognise it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now on the Foundry Drive, there's an area of land inside there that hasn't been developed. And that's what I was trying to get to, was to explain that I'm trying to get that raised because there's huge concerns about stuff being dumped there. So
it's been locked.
It's been locked, which because residents, I don't know whether they've come to anybody else, but they're concerned that the activities in there aren't in keeping with what it should be. And also,
are people sleeping in there?
Well, it's turned into well, it looks to all intents and purposes, it's turned into a builder's yard. And there's materials coming in and out of it and being dumped and moved about, which is not. It hadn't. The history of it was they put in to develop it. They were told that they hadn't actually gone through the process of actually much proving that it was not needed for industrial, so they didn't get their planning, and then it came back where it is. It's been it seems to be, and the residents who live in Foundry Drive clearly looking out of their windows and seeing a lot of activity and getting very concerned about it.
Okay,
and also the so
you're on the case.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying whether it's stuff you want to be involved in, because it's not just what Robin says, is it?
Yeah. You
so
want to do anything else?
I think it's something that I think you should raise your concerns as a council, because an irregular site of any description.
We'll see what happens with that. That's being properly done, so we don't want to.
No. And then there was issues to do with
Lucy, have you got a point about that particular issue?
Am I allowed to ask Robin a question?
Yeah, of course.
So is it, if I can show you, is it that patch there?
Correct.
Cool.
What I was trying to explain. The name say there are other issues was raised when I've been on the London road, but not going to different, but I think that there are lots of things going on in Buckingham, but aren't necessarily in keeping with
Yes.
planning. So if we are about, it seems to be people chancing their arms on getting stuff done, which they wouldn't normally do. But as I said at the onset, we seem to have an officer, haven't we, Catherine, now seems to actually processing stuff.
I think they wanted somebody who deals with enforcement.
So that's a good thing. So what I'm saying is, while we've got somebody who's allowed to get on and do things, make the most of them, because they'll
Okay,
get taken to South Buckinghamshire.
we've got it. Yeah, absolutely. Right, item 11, chair's announcements for information only, nothing to announce, please know. And the date of the next meeting, gosh, Monday the 15th of December, there's no better on this. And I can't even work out, I was trying to work out the personal plan committees, but they pop up here, there, and everything. So I'm trying to plan my calendar for next year. Right, so I'm going to declare the meeting closed, or anyone else want to say anything? No? Going, gone?
Thank you.